Let's see if this is better. This is from the Awadori uh, dancing and Tinman recital. It's like one of the last festivals that happen at the end of summer. You like that footage? Yeah. That nice high def, beautiful beam footage. I want to talk to you guys today about how you don't actually like Japan. A lot of people that weeaboo out, and I don't just mean in like the anime sense. I think there's a new class of people who misunderstand Japan that travel here, and luckily enough, they're not even on the weeaboo side. There's much more. I mean, it might be some overlap later if they come in real person, but this comes much more real life people, not people who just watch anime, but people who actually come to Japan and they're culture shock and how they don't actually like Japan. They just they just miss the United States. Um, they have remnants of what the United States used to be in maybe the 80s and 90s or whatever they grow up. And even how they learned in school, and then when they get out into the world, it kind of doesn't match up. And when you go to Japan, it actually matches up better. Really the same. Things function how you expect them to function. Things are like ordered. What are the bigger indicators of this new crop of peoples when you go on any anyone just talking about Japan and like their first time there, they always talk about not the culture, but just the society. Like it's always so clean. It's so peaceful. I feel so safe. I have access to high quality food that tastes delicious. None of this is culture. This is all just functional civilization. And this is what I mean when I say you don't actually like Japan. Because Japan culture is weird. Once you get here, it's and you get used to the people. I guess there's some overlap, but the I mean, I like weirdos. I think I'm an outlier, but for most people, Japanese culture is very weird. The only thing that you guys care about, and probably this might need to be a different video. What you're responding to is this. We have this weird thing since the United States is effectively the new Roman Empire. And everyone that's in the West is effectively just a vassal state or a colony of the United States. And there's this interesting thing when cultures meet each other that they trade or kind of encapsulate the time period from which uh, they interacted with each other. So you have this thing. This is documented more specifically, more articulately, by Thomas Sowell in one of his books. I think it's Black Rednecks and White Liberals. Um, and he talks about how a lot of Southern culture and Black culture, well, Black culture, Black American culture, is Southern culture. They're pretty much the same thing. You can't really untwangle the two. Um, you can't unwind or untangle the two. And then that Southern culture is also originally comes from Scottish culture. But the Scots don't behave that way, but that's how they used to behave. And effectively, you have the same thing happening in the colonies, for lack of a better word, the American colonies in Asia. And I think Japan is the first one who has exhibited this. Because basically, after World War II, Japan has just been a de facto colony maybe since World War II, and MacArthur was effectively the governor of Japan for a while. And you can see this in their culture where they have this kind of modern time Japan. And the things that we kind of responding to in the United States, they were moved to Japan and then they just kind of stayed there and crystallized. Because like if you go to Japan and you walk around, you see all these old buildings. They're just kind of from the 80s and 50s. We had this shit in the 20s and 30s. These buildings that were built in Japan that are relatively modern and they look cool, these like arcades and shit like that. This building structure you saw in the 20s and 30s. This is pre-war U.S. where we can't find such things as much. I think if you guys know about like the Ramune soda, where you have these little tiny glass bottles and you push a marble down, that was in the United States. A lot of these quirky things that you find around Japan, it was from the United States. And when you talk about Japanese culture, that's yokai. How many people even know what a fucking yokai is? Effectively, Japanese are closer to like pagans. They have all these weird spiritual, ritualistic shit, and you only get hints of it, glimpses of it in anime and like their storytelling. How many people are actually eating natto? I know you guys like sushi. Are you guys eating fish sperm? Huh? What about bukkake? If your only concept of bukkake is from a porn search, you guys aren't actually used to Japanese culture. What you're really attracted to is just the remnants of the United States empire. And maybe half of this is why Trump got elected 3 times, because it's probably going to be 3 times. I don't know how they're going to go back and check that shit. I don't know if you guys have seen that graph where it showed I don't know if you guys saw that graph of let's keep it off. Y'all can figure that shit on your own. Go look up a graph and go look at the voter counts from the past 4 elections. And look at that surprising spike and then disappearance of the spike in voters. Someone's gonna have to address that. And it's not me. Yeah, that's it.